It is your Monday and time to talk some sports with our guy, Pep. Pep, what's going on?
Yo, good morning, Patrick, and all the rockers out there. Baseball opening weekend is in the books, and if you're a Dodgers fan, we joked around that maybe they'll go 162 and 0. Well, that is still a real possibility after
Yeah.
sweeping the Detroit Tigers in their home opening series, and they look very impressive doing it as well. Now that they got the Atlanta Braves coming into town today, yeah, but the Dodgers are 5 and 0 when you combine the Tokyo series. And now this 3-game set against Detroit. Yeah, the pitching was a little shaky here and there, but the Dodgers, that's what champions do, right? They find a way to win.
Yeah, I kind of like it too that they played well, good enough to win, of course, but not everything's perfect because, take it from me as a Mariner fan, when a team comes out really hot in the beginning, it's tough to maintain that, dude, and it leads to a drop off. I think the Dodgers are doing it just right. They're winning, but they still have something to kind of strive for and work on.
Yeah, and consider this too, that Shohei Ohtani, at some point, I firmly believe at some point this season, we will see him on the mound. I don't know exactly what that role is going to look like. Is he going to be like an every 5th or 6th day starter? Is he going to come out of the bullpen at first? I don't know what that's going to look like, but they said he's already, again, resuming his throwing regiment behind the scenes, doing bullpen sessions. So his return to the bump is sooner rather than later. So just consider that. Like, as good as the Dodgers are, they might be even better. Will that affect Shohei Ohtani's ability to hit at the plate because he's off to a hot start again at the plate? I don't know. We're gonna have to find out. But yeah, he's going to pitch again, and I think at some point this season.
Yeah, there was many cool moments. First of all, the Dodgers are winning. The ring ceremony when they announced Shohei Ohtani to the crowd, they went crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, they had Kirk Gibson come out and throw the
yeah.
first pitch to Freddie Freeman. Gibby me, Freddie. It was very cool. And then also, we're thinking about Mookie Betts. He hasn't been feeling well. He's dropped 20 pounds. He hits a walk-off. Things are looking good.
Yeah, things are looking good for the Dodgers. They always find a way to make it dramatic as well. And that was really cool to see Freddie Freeman and Kirk Gibson, two Dodgers who had iconic home runs in their respective World Series runs. So that was really awesome. So the Dodgers are 5 and 0, but Patrick, if you look in the rearview mirror, here come the Friars. The Padres are 4 and 0. They swept the Atlanta Braves, who are, they've been really good for a long, long time. So that's a big season sweep or series sweep to open the season for San Diego. And I think it was a one-hitter actually on Sunday against Atlanta. So the Dodgers look really good, but if you're a Padres fan, I know you're out there across the Inland Empire. The Padres look pretty good too.
They've been knocking on the door for a while, and they're doing it the way I prefer it. No one's really noticing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the best way to do it. Before you know it, I mean, they almost got the Dodgers. I mean, they were the biggest threat to the Dodgers last year. It really seemed like it, especially when the Dodgers got into the World Series, and they just smoked. It was like once they got past the Padres, that was their stiffest competition.
Yeah, and the Padres might be, again, their stiffest competition. They kind of have been the last couple of years. I know there's been some other good teams in the National League. I think of the Philadelphia Phillies, of course. Arizona had that World Series run. But, yeah, the last, I would say, 5 years or so, and I would say this year as well, the Dodgers' stiffest competition to win the National League West, to get to the World Series, all those things, might be the Padres again, because they sure look like it in this first series against Atlanta. So they did that to the Braves. Now the Braves play the Dodgers, so we can kind of, maybe have that same measuring stick between the two teams.
Yeah, they've been knocking on the door for a while. Will they knock it down? I mean, eventually you would think so.
At some point, but the Dodgers, at least on paper, even though they're coming off a World Series, this might be their best team ever this season. So
Yeah.
we will see. So those are Dodgers and Padres updates. Here's your Angels update. They took 2 out of 3 in Chicago against the White Sox, which is good. But after that first game of the year, that season opener, there was a lot of Halo fans that were worried because they were like, here we go again, man. We're not going to score runs.
Yeah.
We can't hit. We can't get starting pitching. We're going to stink again.
I mean, Mike Trout takes a 96-mile-per-hour fastball off his hand.
Oh, that too.
I was like, "You're kidding me!" And he ended up being okay. But I was like, "Oh my God! If he breaks his hand, he's just cursed."
Dude, that's all we want to see, right? Is a healthy Mike Trout.
Yeah.
Get through the entire season, play Well, I don't know. If there was a number out there, I'd say 140 games. Right?
Yeah.
Does that sound out of 162 regular season games, like 140 to 150, like somewhere in that ballpark? Just keep this guy healthy. If he's healthy, you think there's a chance. Like maybe the Angels can do something special with him still in his prime. But if he gets hurt, the Angels are not watchable. They're not fun. They're not interesting. Now Shohei's gone. If Mike Trout gets hurt like last year, dude, that's a tough mountain to climb.
As a baseball fan, I want to see it.
Yes, yeah. I mean, that's a reason to go to the Big A. Even if the Angels are under 500, I would want to go see Mike Trout play. Period.
Yes.
So we'll see if they can keep this up. We'll see if they can keep him healthy. The Angels will play at the St. Louis Cardinals today as they continue this season-opening road trip for the Halos. All right, so baseball is off and running after opening weekend. But we also have the Final Four for March Madness, the NCAA tournament. It's set. And Patrick, for the first time and only time since 2008, we have the number one seeds in the Final Four. You guys probably already know this, but it's going to be Duke against Houston and Florida against Auburn. I think it's been a fun tournament, but not a lot of chaos, Patrick. Not a lot of drama getting to the Final Four.
No, for the first time, and like you said, over 25 years, or nearly 30 years, my goodness, the teams that were supposed to win actually won. I guess it's kind of like the Padres coming after the Dodgers. Eventually, it's got to happen. I think it makes for a great Final Four. I know it's not as exciting leading up to it, but we talked about this a couple weeks ago. The non-drama in the beginning of the tournament leads to a better tournament in the end. I think a bunch of drama in the beginning, a bunch of those really good teams lose when they probably shouldn't have.
Yeah.
So it makes the games not as quality at the end. I think we're setting up here for a great Final Four.
Yeah, the tournament as a whole might not have been as exciting as years past, but these Final Four games and the national championship game, it should feel like a heavyweight fight. Like these should be some really good games because we did get the best four teams in the country, advancing and making it through the Final Four. Even my wife asked, she knows enough about the tournament to be dangerous, and she said, "Well, who was the Cinderella this year?" And I'm like, the slipper didn't fit anybody's foot. There was no Cinderella this year. All the good teams got through like they were supposed to. In fact, the Elite Eight was like 1 versus 2, 1 versus 2, 1 versus 2, and 1 versus 3. Like all of the teams that we thought were good, they were that good. They got all the way through to the Final Four. And now that's what we got, the 4 number ones. And I think these Final Four games coming up on Saturday in the national championship a week from today, again, I think it's going to be a heavyweight fight. We want to see the best teams, in the spotlight, and that's exactly what we got.
I hate to put you on the spot, Pep. Who do you feel is going to make it to the championship game?
Okay, so I'm going to stick with who I said in the beginning because I got 3 out of the Final 4 correct, which wasn't a big stretch, right? Because we all went with a lot of the higher seeds anyways. I had Duke versus Houston. No, Duke versus Houston, Florida versus Auburn. I think the one that I missed was I had Tennessee instead of Houston in the Final 4.
Right.
So I'm going to say Duke beats Houston and Auburn beats Florida. That's what I originally said, and I had Auburn winning the whole thing. So I got Auburn and Duke coming out of Saturday.
All right, we got a good little thing going on here because I felt this coming on. I feel like we're going to see a Duke-Florida matchup. So we'll see what happens here. That is Duke and Auburn. Auburn takes it.
Yes.
I think it's going to be Duke and Florida, and I am a believer in Duke, and I think I'm getting influenced by my kids. They love Cooper Flag, and they've sold me on it, Pep.
The Dukies, right? Either you love them or you hate them. And if you're in, you're in. And listen, they are good enough. They are good enough to win the whole thing. I have seen them a couple times, watched them a couple times through this tournament. Yeah, dude, Cooper Flag looks like the number 1 pick in the NBA draft, and they're just a really good team. John Shire, the new head coach who took over for Coach K, he finally feels like the Duke coach now. Like, it's his program.
He definitely does, man. So it's good we got kind of opposing things going on here. We both believe in Duke. But Auburn, who's very tough, and our favorite guy is the coach, of course.
Bruce Pearl, yeah.
Love Bruce Pearl. Very funny dude, very honest dude. We'll have to see what happens. I think this Final Four is going to be great. I can't wait for it, man. and it's headed our way. We get to talk more with our guy Pep on Thursday, more about it. I'm sure something will happen in the NFL. It's the way it is. The offseason is almost as big as these other sports, but good for these other sports for finally taking over the NFL, which is tough to do. Pep, tell them how to get your stuff.
Hey, if there's anything that can take over the NFL, at least for a small window, it would be March Madness and baseball opening weekend, man. You got to love it. You can also love local sports when you find us at Inland Sports on X, on Instagram, on Facebook. We also have the YouTube channel. That's Inland Sports.
Thanks, Pep.